Katz's, I would walk in all the time. I remember, I mean, I was always on the run. I was always going from place to place. So I would just run through Katz's and get a Frankfurter or a Pastrami, and just run off. When you're young, you get to eat while walking all the time. So just in your hand and walk around with it. Yeah, it's. I love meat. You know, I love meat-based products, and among my generation in America, fewer and fewer people eat any meat-related products. And according to my doctor, I shouldn't be eating all that much of it either. But I grew up in the Soviet Union, or I was born there and lived there for a while, and it's a very meat-based diet, and it's hard to. Well, it's hard to stop loving meat. Is Katz's kosher? I don't even know.
No,
it's not. It's just such an Eastern European feeling in there. It's, there's the lighting, I guess, kind of. You know, when I visited the former Soviet Union, there's some places that almost provoke Katz's. The lack of ostentation, you could say, grubbiness, some others would say. Old Jewish places, they really, I mean, they're a wonderful anachronism, you could say, I guess. If you designed the place now, it would be all sleek. It's also what I love about pastrami is it's, as opposed to the Russian hard salamis, is its flakiness. You know, it is a sandwich meat, whereas it's hard to make a sandwich out of doktorskaya. What is it? What's that other kielbasa I love?
Put a lot of garchitsa on it.
With a lot of garchitsa, yes, but you can't quite. You know, it doesn't make sense in a sandwich format. But this is a new world kind of dish, so it's perfect in a sandwich. And to be honest, what I really love is pickles. You know, I live for pickles. And
how about green tomatoes?
Tomatoes are great too. Great. But the Americans I went to college with are predominantly vegetarian. So when you mention something like Katz's, they're mortified. You know, but especially the women, I would say. I always think that smoked meats are a very sexy thing. I don't know why. I think I always connect these meats with virility. You know, you can't get virile from a broccoli cheddar melt. It's just, it has nothing to do with reproduction. But Katz's, even the name Katz's for some reason to me speaks of multiplication, of breeding or something. New York is an everything kind of place. I mean, it's now like this neighborhood, you know, this neighborhood began as an Eastern European place, Eastern European and Italian on the fringes too of the Lower East Side. Then it became a Latino place. Now it's becoming a Chinese place. This building I'm living in was a building for Jewish socialists. It was built by the Garment Workers Union, the Bund. Now it's a lot of Hasidic Jews are moving in, so it's in constant flux. But predominantly, when people think of the Lower East Side, who lived here, you think of Eastern European Jews. You know, you look at a novel like Henry Roth's Call It Sleep, which is set here. And, you know, and he had a great line in that book with these two little Jewish kids are playing, a boy and a girl, and they're talking about where babies come from. And the girl says, the papa got the pretzel and the mama got the knish. And the papa puts the pretzel in the knish. So it's back to reproductive food, you know, this is already a kind of, you know, these Eastern European Jews thought in terms of food. And New York is, of course, a food-obsessed town. And I think it's you can't eat like this anywhere in the world. Paris has the best French food. LA has some good Pacific Rim food, but New York's got everything. And a place like Katz's, it's got a lot of competition these days, but people line up. You know, I've lived everywhere in New York. I can't think of a neighborhood I haven't lived in, and I've always wanted to come back here. And I don't think I'll ever leave. I mean, I travel a lot, but I just spent a year in Rome, and I was living in this beautiful piazza with a view of everything, of the hills, the Castelli Hills, And I still miss the Lower East Side, even though, I mean, I have a nice view here, but these buildings are pretty socialist, you could say, almost. You know, they're very utilitarian. I miss this place when I was there, when I was in Italy. And I miss it wherever I travel. You know, Manhattan looks like this, sort of. And we're this bump. We're at the tip here. And I hope it doesn't change. In fact, I was looking at some report, and they said that one possibility is if global warming continues at some rate, that this part of Manhattan, this little bump, is the one that's going to go underwater. And that's exactly where I live, you know, sort of this radius. So I don't mind swimming, you know, and I'm on the high enough floor, I think. But it's a possibility.
You'll have time to put on your trunks, right?
I put on my aqualung and swim off. Yeah.